Zambia One Nation, the news at 22 hours. My name is Chitalo Mlinga, and on sign language we have Isabel Banda. The headlines. President Edgar Lungu warns inmates and ex-prisoners against abusing the presidential pardon once granted. Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe is in the country to attend President Edgar Lungu's inauguration. The Supreme Court dismisses the appeal case by UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema. And the Zambia Golf Union commends Zambian golfer Aaron Simfukwe's junior performance at the just-ended MCB Indian Ocean Golf Tournament in Mauritius. President Edgar Lungu has warned inmates and ex-prisoners against abusing the presidential pardon once granted. The president is disappointed that some ex-prisoners went back to commit similar offences after being pardoned. President Lungu said this when he visited Lusaka Central Prisons after he donated assorted items. Yotam Mugara reports.
These are inmates at Lusaka Central Correctional Facility, commonly known as Chimbokaila. The inmates are celebrating the fulfillment of the promise made by President Edgar Lungu to buy them new kitchen equipment and other utilities. President Lungu has donated industrial electrical pots, fridges, and television sets. The president is hopeful that his donation will go a long way in improving the inmates' welfare. President Lungu, however, expressed displeasure at the abuse of the presidential pardon granted to some ex-prisoners.
I'm saying so because some of the beneficiaries of my presidential pardon have come back. But I know that to err is human, to forgive is divine, and we have to keep forgiving one another. If I can forgive those who want to fire me from the State House, what about those who have just offended the law and they've paid back 3-4 times over? I'm saying this because I know that all of us are human beings and we can err. I pray that when my tour of duty as head of state is over, those who come in will emulate me. I am emulating Mr. Michael Chimshasata, our beloved president, because the one who started the reforms.
Zambia Correction Service Commissioner General Percy Chato described President Lungu as a champion of prison reforms and humanity as a whole.
Your visit today signifies the importance that you attach to prison reform and humanity as a whole. Your Excellency, we are aware that for prison reform to be effective, there should be a champion to effect such reforms and drivers to drive the reforms. Your visit here, Your Excellency, to this facility is an indication that you are indeed a champion of prison reforms.
The donation of assorted electrical appliances has also cheered Lusaka Central Correctional Facility Officer in Charge, Patrick Ngonga.
Of all the presidents I've seen, the 6 of them, you are the only one I've seen who actually likes them very much. We normally have releases in May and October, but with you, Your Excellency, you have actually surpassed that. Maybe in a year we have 4 releases. Every time I come to mention about the releases, I normally tell them that the president likes you.
And speaking on behalf of the inmates, Kelvin Kafwisa, who has been serving for over 23 years, appealed for more reforms, including expediting the appeal process, among others. President Lungu has pledged to construct more correctional facilities as part of the reforms. Yotam Mugara, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
And President Lungu has commended the Chinese government for its friendship to Zambia based on mutual respect and understanding. President Lungu says China's friendship has been based on cooperation for the benefit of both countries. Speaking when he received Ma Biao, who is Chinese President's special envoy, attending the inauguration ceremony tomorrow, President Lungu expressed happiness that President Xi Jinping's focus to develop Africa has continued from where Zambia's first president, Kenneth Kaunda, and Chairman Mao left.
Thank you very much. I must say you have eloquently tabulated areas of cooperation between Zambia and China. In fact, you have left out some of them. But that is what true friendship is about, cooperation.
谢谢您，您刚刚非常详细的阐述一下我们的合作，确实是这样的。真正的友谊主要就是靠合作来支撑的。
Cooperation based on mutual respect, understanding of one another, and trying to achieve a win-win situation.
真正的这种合作呢，确实是建立在相互尊重、相互理解以及互利共赢的基础上的。
Unlike some of our friends who are probably stronger than us, who want to dictate to us how we should run our affairs.
所以说，我觉得中国是我们真正的很好的朋友。中国从来不干涉我们的内政。
We have so many friends on the continent of Africa and the world at large, but China stands out because of its genuine warmth and appreciation for African countries in helping them grow.
我们在非洲大陆也有很多好朋友，而在我们所有非洲国家的心中，中国都是一个好朋友，因为中国一直给予我们很大的支持。
And that's why we are very delighted that since President Xi Jinping and at FOCAC opened up the 10 points for development, we have all embraced our friendship to such a higher level that the friendship which was left between our founding fathers, Chairman Mao and Dr. Kaunda, should be dwarfed by the time we leave office.
And Mr. Ma said the Chinese president has sent congratulatory words to President Lungu on his re-election because of the confidence he has in his leadership. He is confident that Zambia is destined for more development under President Lungu's leadership. Mr. Ma, who spoke through an interpreter, also expressed happiness that many areas of cooperation, such as the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, solar-powered milling plants, and various roads have recorded progress. He has also thanked Zambia for supporting China on a number of issues such as climate change and the South China Sea.
这个赞比亚的这个务实合作。
And we will continue to implement the consensus between President Xi Jinping and you, and also under the framework of the 10 cooperation plans between China and Africa, we can continue to enhance our practical cooperation across the board.
特别重点的是在产能、这个农业、这个基础设施、金融和人力资源开发方面呢，来进一步加强这个务实的合作。这个还是进一步这个增强这个赞比亚可持续发展的这个能力。
And special priority will be given to those areas such as industrial capacity, agriculture, the construction of infrastructure, finance and development of human capital, so as to improve the capacity of Zambia of sustainable and independent development.
Representatives of some foreign heads of state have arrived in the country ahead of tomorrow's inauguration of Zambia's 6th president, Edgar Lungu, and Vice President-elect Inongewina. Inatumanza witnessed the arrival of some of the representatives of the foreign heads of state, and she gives details.
In the country ahead of tomorrow's inauguration of Zambia's 6th president Edgar Lungu and Vice President-elect Inongewina. The first to arrive was Malawian Vice President, whose plane touched down at 10:45 hours.
Zambians are neighbors, but I think they're beyond neighbors. They're also our brothers and cousins. And therefore, for an occasion like this, we have to be with them. And I'm here to represent our President, His Excellency Professor Hamid Mutharika, who, because he's preoccupied, he couldn't come here in person. So I am here so that we can continue to promote the cordial relations that we enjoy with our brothers from Zambia.
Tanzanian President John Magufuli will be represented by his Vice President Samia Hassan, who has since arrived. Mrs. Hassan, who was welcomed by Sports Permanent Secretary Agnes Musunga, was treated to a quarter guard of honor by Zambia Army. Her arrival was also characterized by traditional dances and songs. Other foreign heads of state are expected this evening and tomorrow morning. 4 African heads of state are expected to attend tomorrow's inauguration ceremony. Other senior foreign dignitaries from SADC, AU and COMESA will also be in attendance. Ingutu Mwanza, ZNBC News.
And Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe has arrived in the country to attend President Edgar Lungu's inauguration. And President Mugabe has congratulated President Lungu and the Zambian people for holding peaceful elections. President Mugabe, who arrived at 1750 hours at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, said he has come to Zambia to celebrate because Zimbabwe and Zambia are twins. He said he is confident that President Lungu will have a peaceful 5-year term in office. President Mugabe said whatever happens in Zambia is of interest to Zimbabwe.
And to join the people of Zambia in the celebration tomorrow, the inauguration. And we wish them well, and I'm sure it's going to be a very peaceful term of office he's going to have. We are neighbors, and therefore whatever good thing happens in Zambia, we reciprocate as our thing. And if also we do a good thing down south, I'm sure Zambia reciprocates in the same way. We are twin.
And Kenyan Vice President William Ruto has commended Zambians for holding peaceful elections. Mr. Ruto said it is clear that Zambians have embraced democracy. He pointed out that Zambia is a great country and has given pride to the African continent through peaceful elections. Mr. Ruto, who arrived at 17:05 hours, said democracy is a big component of development. He said this in an interview with journalists in Lusaka.
Zambia is a great country and a great friend to the Republic of Kenya. And we have come here to celebrate with the people of Zambia the election of a new president. And as Africans, this gives us pride that we can carry out elections without issues. And democracy is a big component of what we want to see in our continent. And what Zambians have done is great. And we have come to celebrate with you that this is the way to go. Progressive, democratic elections are an important component to the development of our continent.
Meanwhile, President Edgar Lungu this evening hosted dinner for visiting heads of state and representatives at State House ahead of his inauguration tomorrow. Among those who attended are Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe, Kenya's Deputy President William Ruto, and Vice President of Malawi, Saulosi Chilima. Democratic Republic of Congo Prime Minister Matata Ponyo was also in attendance at the event. First Republican President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda and Vice President-elect Inongewina joined the visiting dignitaries at State House. Chinese President Xi Jinping's envoy, Ma Biao, who paid a courtesy call on President Longo earlier, also joined in the dinner alongside his delegation. Just now we take a break. More news after that. You're watching ZNBC News. Some opposition political parties have confirmed attending tomorrow's inauguration ceremony of President-elect Edgar Lungu and Vice President-elect Inongewina. National Restoration Party acting spokesperson Frank Sichone says the country needs to move on after almost 1 month of politicking. And the Forum for Democracy and Development says it has received invitations for the inauguration and the state banquet. FDD spokesperson Antonio Mwanza says his party will attend both events. And People's Alliance for Change President Andy Ford Banda says he is waiting for the official invitation from government to enable him attend the inauguration ceremony.
We would like to go to the President-elect, President Edgar Lungu. He's going to preside over a very divided nation. I think these elections have divided us more than before. And our prayer is that the President will be magnanimous enough to look outside the window and realize that all of us, and I mean all of us, the opposition, the church, the civil society, the media, we all have to work together to rebuild Zambia and make it a better place. It will take the President to have the initiative, but it will take all of us to have the magnanimity to also help the President. Because when the President calls upon us, we should be open to sit down, dialogue as Zambians and make the changes that we need to do.
NAREP doesn't boycott national events, and I confirm that we are going to attend the inauguration, and we ask all the members to attend the inauguration in all various places. And we also want to call for peace, and also to advise others, especially most of us who took part in this and those who lost, to really come back to ourselves and to make sure that we now advocate for peace and calmness. I think politics, the politics are now gone. It's over a month now since we voted, and we expect people to accept the outcome and to accept the defeat so that we can unite now as a country and move forward.
And the Green Party says it will only attend the inauguration if the party receives an official invitation. Green Party Secretary General Daniel Sichilongo says the party secretariat is in Kitwe and party officials can only travel to Lusaka once they receive an official invitation. United National Independence Party says the party leadership is waiting for official invitation for the inauguration. UNIP Deputy Secretary General Reverend Alfred Banda says the party is willing to attend the ceremony. Meanwhile, the UPND Lusaka Province Chairperson Bob Sakahilo said his party will not attend the inauguration ceremony for President Edgar Lungu. The Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal case by UPN leader Hakainde Hichilema. This is in a matter where Mr. Hichilema contested the Lusaka High Court's decision to quash his application to stop the inauguration of President-elect Edgar Lungu. Supreme Court Judge Nigel Mutuna dismissed the case on grounds that the application was before a single judge. Judge Mutuna noted that the application was supposed to be filed before a full bench of the Supreme Court. But one of Mr. Hichilema's lawyers, Keith Mwemba, told journalists that Mr. Hichilema would file a fresh application before the full bench of the Supreme Court judges. Last Friday, Lusaka High Court Judge Mwila Chitabo dismissed the application for an injunction by Mr. Hichilema to stop the inauguration of President-elect Edgar Lungu and Vice President-elect Inongewina. Judge Chitabo ruled that his court is bound by the Supreme Court's ruling in the Attorney General versus the Law Association of Zambia case of 2006. In the Attorney General versus the Law Association of Zambia, it was ruled that no relief can be granted where the main matter has not been heard. Meanwhile, Mr. Hichilema this morning withdrew the case before the Constitutional Court, where he was challenging the inauguration of President-elect Edgar Lungu. Mr. Hichilema, together with UPND Vice President for Administration Geoffrey Mwamba, wanted to know whether or not President-elect Edgar Lungu and Vice President-elect Inongewina could be sworn in without being declared by the Constitutional Court. The matter was before Constitutional Court Judge Mugeni Mulenga. Mr. Hichilema and Mr. Mwamba went back to the Constitutional Court after the dismissal of their 2016 presidential election petition. The petition was dismissed because the constitutional limit within which it was earmarked to be heard had expired. Former Catholic Archbishop Emmanuel Milingo has appealed to Zambians to bury their political differences and turn in numbers at President-elect Edgar Lungu's inauguration ceremony at the National Heroes Stadium tomorrow. Archbishop Milingo says President Lungu should be supported because he has demonstrated good leadership by promoting the One Zambia, One Nation motto. He says there is need to focus on national development after the inauguration of the head of state. Archbishop Milingo was speaking to ZNBC News in a walk-in interview at the mass media complex in Lusaka today.
Important thing at the heart of Zambians, one Zambia, one nation. And I think this is something that we must cherish. We Zambians, this is our own, yeah, a kind of heredity. But in each political party must be aware and conscious of the fact that whoever they are, they still represent the country. And they must maintain this representation of the country by their attitude in their relation they are together. But they must not develop antagonism. No, that we don't like. And therefore, we do feel this must go on, and this is to bring us to peace.
We have some sports news after the break. Finally, in the news, the Zambia Golf Union has commended Zambian golfer Aaron Simfukwe Jr.'s performance at the just-ended MCB Indian Ocean Golf Tournament in Mauritius. Simfukwe finished second behind Albert Venter of South Africa in a tightly contested final round on Sunday. The Zambian golfer scored 223 points, just 3 points behind Venter, who had 220 points after 3 rounds. And Zambia Golf Union's secretary, Kelly Musaka, said Simfukwe received an exclusive interview for the tournament after winning the Green Jacket Golf Tournament in Namibia last month. Musaka told ZNBC Sports in an interview in Kitwe that Simfukwe's performance on the international scene is a clear indication that golf is improving in the country. He has also called on Zambian golfers to work hard and emulate the likes of Madaliso Mutia and Aaron Simfukwe, who carry the Zambian flag high and are making a name on the African continent.
One day we are going to produce a champion, or indeed, as it is now, we've already produced a golf icon on the continent. If our player continues to receive invitations like this one, it means we are getting somewhere. He has started at, drawing a lot of attention on the continent, and I believe beyond.
As we end the news, we look at the headlines again. President Edgar Lungu has warned inmates and ex-prisoners against abusing the presidential pardon once granted. Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe has arrived in the country to attend President Edgar Lungu's inauguration. The Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal case by UPN leader Hakainde Hichilema. And the Zambia Golf Union has commended Zambian golfer Aaron Simfukwe Jr.'s performance at the just-ended MCB Indian Ocean Golf Tournament in Mauritius. And we end the news just there. Thank you so much for your time. Good night.